Hello, hello, hello. Christina Shear here with Mast Cell 360. So delighted to be with you today. We are going to be inviting back our incredible Kimberley Quirk, our functional mast cell coach, right here as a part of the Mast Cell 360 clinic. And we are going to be sharing some of our live mold Q&A questions. So you guys have submitted questions to us. It's been a blast. And we're excited to get those answered today. I do see that we're having a little bit of a glitch with Facebook. So for those of you on Facebook, we are coming to you in a minute. And for those of you on YouTube, why don't you go ahead and let us know where you're tuning in from. So let me go ahead and just kind of go over our basic information here. So this presentation and is for informational and educational purposes. It's not meant to treat, diagnose, cure, or prevent illnesses. Be sure to discuss any health recommendations with your healthcare provider. Oh, I see Freebirds tuning in from Northern Canada. Hello. All right. And we also want to just mention that some links that are going to be mentioned today, as well as on our own website, are affiliate links, which means we do make a small commission if you purchase through the links. They're all products that we recommend, we love, we use. They're something that we talk about all the time in the clinic and within the Mast Cell 360 practice. So just know that using these links never costs you anything extra. There's no like upsell or anything like that, but they are used as commissions to help support our newsletter, the MCAST Mondays that we send out weekly. Let us know if you've been enjoying those, as well as our website, ongoing research, and then the ability to, of course, provide you with the free recipes, our tips, and even more. So wonderful. Well, let's go ahead and get into it. And I do want to mention that even though this is a live Q&A and we do have pre-submitted questions, thank you for those that did that, we are going to keep questions or a little bit of time if possible at the end to take some live questions. So with that being said, you only need to submit your question once. You can submit it anytime now. Our team behind the scenes will kind of keep an eye on that, and we'll be able to answer any questions. Just keep them specific to mold, and let's not do anything in-depth or personal health related, okay? Thanks so much for helping us with that. And as we're about to get started, I did want to let you guys know, since this is Mold May and we are in the middle of our exciting offer for our MC360 Precision Mold Masterclass. This is one of our exclusive products that we have here, and it's one of the favorites, honestly, among our team as well as our customers and clients, if you will. And so as part of, getting a chance to enjoy this new offer, or I'm sorry, enjoy this masterclass, we wanted to add in a special bonus. So first off, if you already have our mold course, just wanted to let you know that it is a bonus that's already in your dashboard. So don't worry, you should have gotten an email from us yesterday with the details of how to access it. And for anyone that makes a purchase before the end of the day on Wednesday, 11:59 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, you're going to get this new bonus. It's a $99 value. This PDF guide is a roadmap guide to help you get started, okay? So it's really meant to be a simple way to navigate the steps to detox gently. So it's going to go through the detox prep. You're going to be able to take the mold toxicity quiz and then review the roadmap to actually help you address mold in your life. So this is a game changer. We've already heard some rave reviews about it. So we hope, if you've been thinking about becoming a member and joining the masterclass and getting the course access, that this is something that is an opportunity for you to say yes. It's a free bonus, which is pretty cool. So once again, we've got the advanced level and the basic level available. The basic course is over $100 off. So you can actually get started with the Mold Masterclass for as little as $149, which is pretty amazing. You can enroll today at mastcell360.com/mold-course. And we'll, of course, pop that in the chat for you to easily be able to click and access it as well. Awesome. Well, I did want to just go ahead and bring up our special guest today. Her name is Kimberley Quirk, and she is going to share. Hi, Kimberley.
Hey, how are you?
Doing good, doing good. She is going to share with you.
Sorry, you were freezing up on me a little bit, so I wasn't sure. It
That's
popped right on
okay.
there.
Welcome, welcome.
So
We're going to navigate.
am I freezing up,
today.
or can you hear me okay?
I hear you just fine. Can you hear me just fine? Kimberly, will you share just a little bit of your personal story and how you came to work with us at Mast Cell 360?
You're breaking up a little bit on me. Okay. So welcome everybody. Sorry about any tech issues, I guess. So yeah, so I've been a client at Mast Cell 360 since 2019. So have been working with Beth for a while, and unknowingly, was trying to look into whether I had mast cell or not. Had a lot of symptoms, hives and things like that, and started digging in deep and working with Beth closely, and uncovered what was going on with me. And really, it was mold at the root of it for me. So I've gotten a lot better since then, since I've uncovered the mold and sort of detoxed the mold and got it out of my environment. So doing a lot better. I'm able to travel. I'm able to eat just about anything right now, and a lot better. So, and then, I've been with the practice since fall of 2022. So been working here since then.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Kimberly, for sharing that. And again, I'm sorry, everyone, that we're having some weird tech issues today. I don't know if you've noticed on Meta, which is Facebook and Instagram, that they've made some changes. So for those of you that catch this on the replay when we share it on Facebook, just welcome. We apologize for the delay. So let's just get into it, Kimberly. And I am going to go ahead and post some questions below, and we're going to show them as banners underneath. And I would love if you would answer this question. So how do you test yourself for mold? And what do I do if my test comes back as negative? Kimberly, are you able to hear me? Okay, we are going to see if we can get Kimberly back. These are some great questions, to say the least. And let's see here. All right, Kimberly, I'm going to take you off screen, and let's see if we can get you back. All right. How about now, Kimberly? Can you hear me at all? Yes, no, maybe? All right, so it looks like Kimberly is having some technical difficulties, and I do apologize about that for today. What we're going to do in light of the technical difficulties, while she sees if maybe she was able to get this to sync back up, is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go through all the different questions. And as a way to serve our community, because so often we get these questions, what we're going to do is we'll respond in the comments, and we have some incredible blogs and other Facebook lives that Beth has done, as well as content that we've shared previously that answer some of these great questions. So in a way to serve you and answer those questions, I'm just going to read them off, and then we'll reply in the chat. So you can always come back to this. So thanks for being patient with us today. All right, so that first question was, how do you test yourself for mold? And what if my test comes back negative? Okay, so that's the first one. And Jamie, since you're behind the scenes and you can hear this live, if you are able to respond, that would be awesome. And let me know you are still with me and it is broadcasting, and I am going to work to resolve Facebook here in a minute. So don't worry about it. Okay. All right. And the next question we have that we see so often is, how do you test your home for mold? And then also, one of the things we find is that tests come back negative. And we wanted to talk a little bit more about why they're negative. And then let's see here. The next question was, what are the most important steps to protect yourself if you are stuck for a few months in a moldy environment until you can get out? And often we hear that finances are a big issue. So I'd love to see, for our YouTube audience that's joining us live today, will you share with me if you've ever been stuck before in a moldy environment and you've been unable to get out? Maybe because you were in a lease, or maybe it's the mortgage of your home. Maybe it was a financial challenge for you. I'd love to see. So if you'll drop in the chat for us and just share whether or not you have ever been stuck in a moldy environment. Could have been an office space. Gosh, there's so many places that unfortunately we go to and we can get exposed to mold. So I would love to see if that's something you've experienced. And there's always a slight time delay, so I'm going to be patient and see if we can get that one to show up. All right. As I reconnect Facebook, hopefully for our community today. All righty. We're going to get this reconnected, y'all. Thanks so much for being patient. All right. Belinda said, oh, yes. All right, Belinda. I have a feeling there's some stories that could go along with what you've had to deal with, to say the least. And let's see here. Okay. So I love this username. I'm going to share this here. Purple Tiger Face said that they're in the situation right now. Rented house, no chance of moving in the immediate future. And then here was Belinda saying, oh, yes. And this one was, oh, wow, this is incredible. Gosh, your remediation was over $100,000 and you took a long time trying to get estimates. That is very, very challenging, to say the least. And we hear these stories all the time at the clinic and among our community. Obviously, Beth has had to go through remediation a couple times as recent as last year, and so we've definitely heard how challenging that can be. Gosh, thank you for sharing those. So again, that question, for those of you that are just joining us live on Facebook, thank you for bearing with us. We had some tech problems this morning, but we're finally connected. Yay, welcome. And so what we're doing, since our special guest today, Kimberley Quirk, is having also some tech issues, we are just going to go through and I'm going to read through all the different questions that you submitted. And our team is actually going to respond in the chat and share some additional feedback and answer those questions. And it looks like Kimberley might actually be getting some better quality. Kimberley, you want to try to come back on stage live here? You want to give me a thumbs up if you think that'll work for you? I'm trying to see if she can hear me behind the scenes, guys. There's so much that goes into the show. I applaud Beth for doing this all the time. Okay, so we're going to hold off while she continues to still work, and I'll just read through these questions for now. So again, what are the most important steps to take to protect yourself if you're stuck for a few months in a moldy environment until you can get out? All right, and let's go to the next question here. How do you know when you're ready to start detoxing? Does mold just go away if I don't detox? That's a great question. I know we had Dr. Neil Nathan on the other day, and he was talking about just how if you're still in a moldy environment, you might be able to get better, but you're never going to get well if you're still in that moldy environment. So there is an important process in not just removing yourself from the environment, but also in detoxing. That brand new bonus that I mentioned walks you through the roadmap of that process by starting off with how to prep for detox, taking the mold toxicity quiz, and then being able to actually walk through that mold roadmap, which can take a period of time. As you've seen in some of our responses, it's an expensive process. You're having to talk to a lot of different vendors. So we understand what's that like. Freebird just shared that it's so challenging she can't even find someone to test or do remediation where you live. I'm so sorry that you're having to deal with that. If I remember correctly, you are in Canada, so I'm sure it is a little more frustrating. Oh, see, this is why I love our community. They actually had to fly someone in that was trustworthy enough. I mean, wow, guys. But I love that you've been working together to figure that out. All right, so let's go to our next question here. And the next question is, oops, here we go. Can you start detoxing when you're still in mold? And you know what? I actually don't know the answer to that question. My guess would be yes, but I am not a clinician or a practitioner here at Mast Cell 360. I'm on the marketing team, in case you ever wondered. And I'm learning just like you guys. I'm learning what it's like to deal with, our health issues, whether it's through MCAS or histamine intolerance. And I'm still on my journey, and I haven't even gotten into the dialogue of like, is mold a factor in my house yet? I haven't even taken a mold test in my home yet. I'm still trying to navigate a couple other things. So if you're like me and you're still trying to walk through that process, baby steps. And that's why it's so important to work with someone that knows. Here's another great question around candida colonization of sinuses seems to be common in mold toxicity, and this can seed from the GI tract. The question was, can candida in the GI tract affect the gallbladder and cause bile acid malabsorption? Good question. That would have been an even better question for me to know the answer to before I had my gallbladder removed. All right. And this is a good one. Why are some people affected by mold more than others? I look forward to hearing the response to that one. And then, is there a device that will tell you the level of mold, if any, exists in a room or a house? So maybe you're like traveling to a hotel room. I know that's something that's come to mind for me. And we've also heard, Beth share kind of her story as she might like travel to Florida or to go on a trip to enjoy some time forest bathing. That might be something where you're trying to figure out, you're going to visit someone else's home and you're trying to avoid mold exposure. So that's a great question as well. So we'll be sure to answer that. And then also, are there any extra financial resources for people with mold illness? Well, it is definitely something that's affecting millions of people throughout the country and throughout the world. And we are seeing more and more people be affected by mold toxicity. The belief is that as per Dr. Neil Nathan's new book, he just shared this the other day, which is why I've had the opportunity to learn more about it, is we're believing that there's over 10 million people currently dealing with this throughout the United States. So that's a great question. It's not an inexpensive process. So how do we navigate that as individuals? So I'm going to see if Kimberly is able to come back online real quick and see if we can get some good quality internet to work with us today, some technology to work with us today, and see if we can get her to answer these questions. Hi, Kimberly. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I think I can hear you. It was so broken up before. And I felt like I was such on the delay. Sorry. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on.
Gosh, thank you to everyone on Facebook and YouTube for hanging in with us today. Let's answer some of these questions because I think these are so key and they've been so patient with us. So let's start with this one right here. How do you test yourself for mold, and what if my tests come back negative? Because I know I hear that one all the time at the clinic.
So a good test to start with is called a real-time labs urine mycotoxins test. So it's a test most people can order, or I think we have resource links that people can order that test direct themselves. So you don't have to use a practitioner if you want to investigate whether that's going to show up or not. That's a good test to start with. We also like to, in addition to that, run a Great Plains, which is now called Mosaic urine mycotoxins, which you do need a practitioner for, I believe. And usually to get a full 360 view of what's going on, just because they use different testing methodologies. So sometimes I see people come in and they'll be blank on their Great Plains or their Mosaic test, but it'll show up on their real time and vice versa. But I find the real time a little bit more sensitive. That's, if I'm going to run one test, that's the one I'm going to run. We do it with gentle provocation, just to provoke a little bit to make sure, because it's measuring what you're detoxing. So if it comes back negative, there can be two things. It could be that you weren't exposed, but chances are if you're working with us and you've been mold exposed, you have been exposed. So if it's coming back negative, you may not be detoxing well. So your body might be really in lockdown. You might be having a lot of stress. And if your body's in, cell danger response and a stress response, it's not going to detox the mold. So it might not be showing up.
That's really great to clearly understand kind of the I don't want to say the steps to navigate it, because it is a process and everyone's a little bit different, but to know if you are going to invest in one particular test, which one it is, and then the importance of understanding the detox process and if it's working, the importance to check that, not just assume.
And it's important to retest. The retest is a little bit less expensive. And it is, once you're on binders, we do retest every 6 months or so, just to make sure things are clearing and that it's not still in your environment and you're retoxing, and that it's coming out. And sometimes it goes a little higher before it goes lower because we start to detox better. So know that as well.
That's good. I would love for you to answer this question, since I've seen a couple comments also come in. Let me share a couple of those real quick here. For example, one of our YouTube viewers mentioned she's in a moldy environment. She's on disability. There's no money to move. She's dealing with a lot of different things going on right now. She hasn't had a chance to test, but has her suspicions of some root issues here. And so I would just love for you to share, the same way you do with our clients, what are the important steps to take if you are either stuck in a moldy environment or unable to move? And what would you recommend to them?
And sometimes that happens to our clients too. They can't move right away. They have to wait for a lease to get out, or they're not having, we're having a little bit of a housing crisis, right? There's a little bit of a shortage. So it can be hard to be moving. So definitely there's things you can do to clean up your air quality. So some ideas that we give clients are to, we use biobalance foggers. So they'll buy a biobalance fogger or mister, depending on how big your space is and how much of your house you're trying, or if it's just apartment, you may be able to just mist. And that's something that people do. So say they fog their house. What that does is make the mold particles that are airborne become dust. So then you dust well, vacuum well, HEPA vac, using your microfiber cloths to clean everything up, and then maintain that for a while. And then, maybe you feel better after because your air quality is better. And then you may need to refog again in 4 to 6 weeks. Some people it's a month, every month. Some people it's every 3 months, depends on the size of the problem going on. If you do own the home, you certainly could fix the water problem, remove the drywall in the area, fog, do a particulate cleanup, and just trying to really improve your air quality. So usually it's that fogging, that cleanup, and then maintaining, right? So there's 2 other devices that we recommend. One is Hypo Air. We prefer the whole house one, but if not, the Air Angel is also good. It just is a much smaller space that it covers. That does a little bit of ionization to bring the particles down ongoing. And then the Air Doctor is just so really effective because it gets the mycotoxin size. Not all the air filters do. So we recommend the Air Doctor. It's really good at sort of cleaning up anything that's sort of airborne. So it's sort of like a offense defense kind of thing, kind of ongoing.
That's awesome.
But improving your air quality is huge. Yeah.
If anyone's been thinking about stepping into that world of getting, a filtration system or getting one of, Hypo Air or any of these other items that Kimberly just recommended, we actually have been reaching out to all the different brands that we work with, that we recommend. And I know they're doing some really awesome promotions for Memorial Day. So we've actually been gathering all of that together, and we're going to send you out an email this Friday. So hold tight. You don't need to go make a purchase today or anything. We want to save as much money as possible for you. And so we've got promo codes and specialty links and all the things, because we wanted to make sure if you've been holding off on making a purchase just because your budget's been tight, that we could help you, achieve that goal of getting that tool or that device that you need to help clean up your environment. Because
Yeah.
Gosh, we hear this story so much. We know it's important.
And Natalie had some good points there. Natalie, who commented, yeah, really cleaning up your environment. The more that you can get things that are going to feed mold out of your environment, like she mentioned about paper, anything that's paper, cardboard, that's mold food, right? The more you can bring down your humidity is huge too if you're living in a humid place. So, right now I have my dehumidifier running because it's, summer humid weather in the Midwest. So yeah, managing your humidity, measuring it, making sure you want it below 50% as best as you can do.
Right.
Because anything over 50% and you have those spores and then you have drywall, you can have a mold issue. So yeah, and she said putting away extra things that collect dust, any extra knickknacks, things like that. The easier it is to clean and dust, and yeah, cleaning your bedding weekly in hot water minimum would be a really good idea, just to really. And then remember when you are cleaning and stuff, and I've had this happen, I react so strongly to mycotoxins that it collects in your hair. So pull your hair back when you're cleaning, shower after, because I've gotten like hives on my neck from my hair collecting it.
That's so interesting. I've never thought about that. See, I'm always learning something from you, Kimberly. I love it. This is a really good, I think, follow-up question that goes along with what we're talking about in relation to the foggers you just mentioned. I'd love if you would share, if someone has MCAS and that, we have such a highly sensitive population that enjoys these lives, how do they normally do with something like that? What have we seen in the past?
Different kind of foggers, right? So there can be foggers that have chemicals, and those are ones I would avoid. The fogger we like is BioBalance, which is a citrus oil based. So I know I actually have a fogger of my own. Beth has a fogger. We've personally fogged our own houses. Neither of us reacted to it. Occasionally people might react nervous system wise if their nervous system's kind of not used to, and it's something new. But generally people with mast cell do pretty well. I mean, the other option is if you have a friend or family member who could do it for you, right? And you kind of, because usually when you're fogging, you're leaving for about 24 hours anyways, to kind of let it work and settle in. Yeah.
That's a really good point. Thank you for answering that. I love being able to give those those real-time answers. Okay. And they also shared they can't do anything citrus based, so that may not be the right fit for you, which is such a bummer.
It might not be. And then also remember that in your air isn't the same as eating. So some people are like, oh, I can't do anything citrus, but that's, I understand citrus is high histamine, but there are allergies too. So yeah, you might have a allergy and might not be able to do citrus, and that might not be the right fit for you.
Yeah. And that's, that's why sometimes we're here to provide recommendations, but again, we always recommend you check with your practitioner and your doctor when possible. So I'd love to kind of shift gears and kind of talk a little bit more about, how do you know when you're actually ready to start detoxing? Does mold just go away if I don't detox? Like what happens in my body?
So how do you know when you're ready to detox? And I'm going to add with mast cell. Right.
Okay.
Because there's a couple of things, if we have mast cell, you don't want to just dive into a detox. I made that mistake. So if you dive into a detox, you're going to cause more mast cell flares, which can make things bigger and worse and make us feel a lot worse. So we very much go when we're out of flaring, things are more calm. But the other important thing is your detox pathways need to be open. So at a minimum, you need to be having a bowel movement every day. If you're not doing that, that's something you really want to be working on moving through, because if you are detoxing, but you're not clearing, your body will reabsorb and you will feel worse. You'll feel a lot more toxic. So yeah, those are a couple important steps to do to know when you're detox. And then does the mold go away on its own? We have people who have had mold exposure from decades ago. It stores in your body. So it stores in your organs and in your fat. That's why also, like, if you don't feel well, if you lose a lot of weight fast, you're become toxic. You want to think about binders and things like that. But mold it'll clear some, but if you really want to pull it out and get rid of it fully, you really need those binders and to do a detox.
That's good. Thank you. And since we do have some individuals that can't leave mold, can they start a detox? Is that a good idea? Oh, we were doing so good, Kimberly.
So I wouldn't say you're fully detoxing. When you're in mold, you're kind of maintaining, right? So can you do binders? Absolutely. If you're at the point where your body's ready and things are moving through, you absolutely can be taking binders, but you're probably, toxins in, toxins out, kind of maintaining.
Kimberly, it looks like we've got a slight delay. I just put something in the comments, but I think you're on it. You know how it goes.
I can see that. Yeah, I'm like, it's a little delayed.
Yeah. Well, I'd love if we could just maybe do one or two more questions here, and then we'll kind of land the plane for today. I'd love if you'd share, is there a reason why some people tend to be more affected than others? I mean, we're talking about millions of people in the global population are addressing mold toxicity right now. So why them? Why me? Why you? Why
Right.
why Beth? Why?
Usually with mast cell, right? So it's usually are not, if we look at hindsight, and hindsight's 2020, it's not our first exposure. So usually the body has sensitized to it, and the body's kind of starts sending signals like, not this again, right? So some of us react and are sensitive because of our past exposure. Some people have past exposure. Some people just don't detox as well as others. There can be 101 things different about your body, even if a sibling. The other thing to think about, and what happened in my own family, is, the kids got sick first, and it wasn't obvious mold sickness, but there was illnesses that were coming up. So they're smaller body size, not as much fat to store it. So they got sick first. Pets can get sick first. And then, I was at home with the kids, so I got sick. And women tend to get sick before men as well. Testosterone's a little bit protective, and they don't tend to have as much body fat. So there's a little bit of that as well. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. That's good to know. And I'm just curious, actually, just generally curious, is there any device or a test that we can do for when we travel to, or we're like, for example, I'm about to go stay at my family's house for a couple days. Is there anything I can do to kind of check on their levels of mold before I bring myself into that environment, maybe while I'm detoxing?
Not an easy one. I mean, an ERMI test is sort of like the way to test, but that's, if you're just going for vacation, you'd spend $300 something just to find out if there was mold or not. A lot of people really pay attention. I know with Mast Cell, we're sensitive, so we pay attention to our symptoms change, and it could just be a mood change. It can be it feels dark in here, or I feel depressed. For me, I get instant hives, so I call myself like a walking ERMI test. Do I know what kind of mold? No, but I know it's there. So there isn't an easy way or device, and it would probably miss it too, especially if it was air-based. It's not dust-based. So there is that would be a great product though, if there was some kind of ERMI that you could test and do it right there. Do some kind of test. So if somebody wants to invent that would be great for the mold community.
Please invent that and let us know immediately.
Yes. An instant ERMI would be great.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I love that. Well, I want to, just honor our time. I know we got started a little bit late, but Jamie, thank you so much for responding and engaging in the chat. We're going to continue to post all kinds of resources for you on EMF sensitivity, because I've seen that question pop up, and a couple other questions on mold. We just released a brand new blog post on detoxing. We also shared the interview from Michael Schrantz, who's an environmental mold expert, and like his advice for the process. So you can find the links to all the tests as well. So we'll be posting those links in the chat, so you can watch this on the replay on Facebook Live, or again in YouTube as well. And we'll make those available for you if you've got any questions. And I think, Kimberly, obviously you have worked with hundreds of patients. I mean, you have seen some of the most complex cases in our community that aren't just dealing with one aspect, they're dealing with multiple aspects. But what have you found to be, if you will, kind of a typical root issue that doesn't get addressed, but then once it does, it moves the needle and we start to see that breakthrough in their health and even your own?
Yeah. So even for me, I got out of mold, but didn't fully comprehend how contaminated things can be. So I've made that mistake where not getting rid of my mattress right away, and I should have. But it's also like, money wise, right? I need new HVAC, needed hard flooring. The cost adds up. So I did it. I did it in stages, right? So I finally got rid of the mattress. The other thing I see is people not retesting the mycotoxins. Like a doctor will test them once, or a practitioner, and then they'll never, they'll give them some binder, but then they take the binder for a certain amount of time, but they don't know if it's cleared. So I don't see that follow-up testing like a lot of times in other practices, and that's something that I like that we do. And then the other thing I see is not addressing the mold fully. Like you have the mycotoxin piece that we're talking about now, but there's also the colonization piece of your sinuses and of your gut. And so even if you leave the moldy place and got rid of or cleaned up all your belongings, you still could be bringing it with you two ways. One is via colonization. So you're making mycotoxins inside you. So that piece needs to be dealt with once you're on binders. And then the other piece is in our nervous system, because that really gets hit hard by the mold. So the nervous system piece is huge as well, just to try to where we get overreactive to things. So the more that you can do your nervous system work to calm things back down, because it can be then reacting to just the smallest amount of things. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I know I shared this with you kind of beforehand, and I just want to bring it up as well. So anyone that is maybe interested in working with someone like Kimberly on our team, we are always accepting applications. So I just want to make that known and available to you guys, that if you'd like to work with someone like Kimberly or Alex, one of our practitioners, they are available. You can apply. And the wait times that used to be like 2 and 3 years for our community have dramatically reduced. We have worked really hard to be able to see more people. And we've found as they start the nervous system kind of work in the beginning, it helps as well. And so if mold is something that you are battling and you'd like to work with someone like Kimberly, we just want to let you know that that's available. Kimberly, I don't know if you want to share just a little bit more, maybe even a testimony of something or someone, let me say it that way, that you've experienced they've had breakthrough in their health more recently.
Yeah. I'm thinking of a client that I met with just a week or so ago. I mean, when he came to us, he definitely, the conventional doctors had kind of written him off, and he was in his 20s, and kind of like, get your affairs in order. We don't know what else to do for you.
Wow.
So yeah, he's been working with us for like a year, and he's now planning some trips to Europe, and is like planning a trip, or I think hiking the Grand Canyon with his mother to celebrate feeling better. So he's feeling a lot better. So that is so rewarding to see when somebody can make a big turnaround like that. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's a huge win. And we always love to share those. Well, I'm going to pull this back up on the slide so y'all can see this real quick, but I just wanted to do just a quick reminder that our mold master class, it's the precision mold master class that we offer. We have an advanced level, which we often see for people just like a Kimberly, right? A practitioner, someone that's a health coach. Kimberly, you're welcome to kind of speak into it as well and share how you've utilized our course content. You've really been a guinea pig. So in the creation of it all.
Yeah, I took the more advanced class just because I was a health coach and just wanted all the details. So I'm like, let's go for the one with all the details, because I wanted the science behind it, the why, and really understanding the hows and the whys. And I felt like it was really, really helped me move forward in my mold detox as well.
Absolutely. And we do a really good job, I feel, on the webpage. If you go to mastcell360.com/mold-course, we actually explain the difference between the basic level and the advanced level, so you can see which one's right for you. And I love that Beth is so kind to literally say, like, this is not for you if, because we want you to get the right support. So if you're just getting started and the basic is an option for you. And I just wanted you to know, regardless of if you purchase the basic or the advanced level, you will get access to our brand new bonus. So especially for those of you that are joining on Facebook that kind of joined a little bit later, this is our new bonus that we just created. It's a PDF. We're excited about it. And so it actually walks you through the detox prep. You take the mold toxicity quiz, which you also find within the course, and then the roadmap to actually addressing mold in your life. So it's meant to be just a really simple guide to start that detoxing process gently. So we just want to, once again, just share that with you and let you know that this promotion is available through this Wednesday, May 22nd at 11:59 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can go and access it at the link right there. At the basic level, you can get started for as low as $149, which is pretty incredible if you've been trying to figure out how to navigate mold and you don't know where to start. Beth has such a heart, and Kimberly, I know you do too, to help as many people as possible, especially with MCAST and other complex issues that have a root cause of mold toxicity, get that breakthrough. We want to do that, and we know not everyone can apply for our clinic or join our clinic, so it's an opportunity to do this at home and on your own. Anything else you'd like to add today, Kimberly, in regards to mold toxicity and just navigating mold in their health?
Yeah, it's a journey. That's the one thing I want to say is it's a journey, and it's not a sprint. I know sometimes when we come across mold and we know it's like our root cause, we try to sprint, myself guilty of that, and push too hard, right? Especially with Mast Cell, right? So it's a low and slow approach. Slow is fast is something that Beth always says, and she's so spot on with that. And that it's a journey, and start where you are. There's no perfect way. I'll tell you, I went about this so backwards, and I'm still, I'm still healing, but doing a lot better than I was. So, and you can heal. You absolutely can heal.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Kimberly. We appreciate you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having
once
me.
again,
Thanks for your patience with tech.
I know, with tech issues. Well, thank you for those that submitted those questions in advance. We were delighted to get those answered for you today. And as I mentioned, for those of you that joined us on Facebook Live, I think it was about 15 minutes after we got started. Those answers are over on YouTube, and we were able to get some more of that. So thank you so much to everyone for joining us today, and we hope you have a wonderful week. If you have any questions, comment below, and our team will be sure to assist you. Thanks.